Might be able to cheer things up with this next one. By the way, hit the like, subscribe, join the channel. We're starting to, it's a movement, and I'm being shadow banned by the deep state, and the establishment does not want my voice to get out there, and therefore, what are all the manipulative bullshit things that people say when they're building a channel and it takes time, and they don't want to admit that it takes time to build a channel, so they create this idea that there's some big boogeyman out there who's trying to undercut them to guilt their followers into subscribing and shit. That kind of stuff. All right. Now, imagine I said all that stuff. Patreon, assemble! Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and I adore you, and thank you very much. Yeah, we're at 63.3 thousand subscribers. Real people. It's the interesting thing where I have like 1/18th the number of, yes, thank you, ban Hal Sparks, please, hashtag ban Hal Sparks, cancel me for the clicks, I'm like a 1/18th the number of followers, and yet the viewership on my videos is right on par with theirs. That seems weird. It's almost like the people that watch my show are actually human beings that watch the show, and they buy subscribers. Did anybody ever get that idea? I mean, that's one way to do it. I'm sure there's some other way to do it. They, of course, hey, dead people can vote, right? All right. So, but from dead people to dud people. I'm sorry, that was terrible. James Comer, who is doing his impersonation of Elf on a Shelf, or I don't know. I hate his face. When you talk about this is the title of this one is what got me. Can I show you the title? This is some sweet shit. Watch this. Rep. James Comer. The White House is obstructing evidence of Biden's corruption. How can they? Well, aren't we up to here in evidence? Isn't the evidence overwhelming? What obstruction could there possibly fucking be? You have all the evidence. You have more than enough evidence. You have evidence. Oh, what? It's not evidence. It's just information. That's right. It's just information because it doesn't lead fucking anywhere. But I just happen to think now the White House is keeping them from knowing stuff. Yes, here's how Joe Biden is obstructing the criminal case against him. He refuses to commit any crimes. It's just being an asshole to this
Oversight Chairman James Comer says he...
Oh, it's Rob Schitt. It's on Rob Schitt's show. I didn't know.
Requested drafts of Biden's speeches as vice president from the National Archives in August.
Wait. He wants what?
Comer says he requested drafts of Biden's speeches as vice president from the National Archives in August.
Drafts of speeches. The National Archives. He wants copies of the speeches because that's talk about shit that's hidden. How are speeches? All right, is stuff he took out or put in before? Here's a good idea. Look at Trump and his think about going down to the Capitol, and he had it in the speech, and they took it out because they would need a permit, and then he just said it as an audible on the day, and it wasn't in the teleprompter because he knew if it was in the teleprompter, they would have raised the security at the Capitol, and he never would have gotten his people up the fucking steps in the first fucking place, so he took it out, and that's how it was a sneak attack. So, anyways, that's what all that peacefully and patriotically bullshit was. But now this asshole wants drafts of speeches. Have fun, motherfucker. The idea that this dickhead is going to make his staff, because he's not going to do any of the work, read Biden speeches where they keep taking out words with double S's and double T's. You're like, oh, he has a stutter, and some of those words can hang people with a stutter up. Wait a minute, I read this whole fucking speech, and the only changes I can mark are the ones that they moved words around because people with a stutter have difficulty with certain consonants following other consonants. Yeah, basically. I hate my boss.
August, but 5 months later has yet to receive them.
He's waiting. Sorry, there's, you know what I mean? Biden's administration is a little busy right now And I mean, I guess the National Archives could get them to you, but why?
In the past, the White House has allowed the National Archives to provide Congress with presidential records related to Trump within a month of.
Yeah, but Trump, did they ever ask for draft speeches? Does anybody even know where the fuck those are? Does the National Archives keep every draft of a speech or just the final one? Seriously? We're archiving presidential typos at this fucking point?
The request, a very different story for Biden and the Congress.
Why? It's draft speeches. Why would they even have them?
Joins us tonight. Sir, good to have you on.
Also, what do you think he said? Motherfucker, what? What do you think he was? He's like, the original draft of this speech he was giving on July 4th admitted his complicity in helping the Chinese government steal military secrets, but they decided to take that out in the public version, being as it was 4th of July and all.
And, you know, a credible FBI informant alleges that the owner of Burisma claims that he paid Hunter and Joe Biden.
Wait, that's two claims deep? You mean Rudy Giuliani, you dumb fuck?
Both $5 million each, in addition to that $1 million a year salary for Hunter.
That should be his answer to everything.
And Joe Biden, both $5 million each, in addition to that $1 million a year salary.
When did you become Jabba the
Hutt? For Hunter. So the truth of what really happened here.
Shit. Oh, my hand was on the enter key. Sorry, and it was making it sick.
With Victor Shoken is critical to national security.
Absolutely. He's a key part of this investigation. You played the tape that showed Joe Biden did, in fact, fire Victor Shoken.
No, he did not. In fact, fire Victor Shoken. He just said, in line with what the administration wanted in the... All right, God damn it. Do I have to bring this shit up again? I do I? Don't I? I have to bring up this shit again? Yes, December phone call, and Hunter Biden, the guys at Burisma said, call Washington and make sure these assholes don't fire Shoken because we got him by the short and curlies. And if at some point he doesn't come around, hold on one second. Let's see. Where is this show? It's usually the first one up. There it is. If he fires this motherfucker, the next guy won't be as easy to have on the take. November, before the phone call, before Hunter Biden's friends ask him to call Washington to fire Shoken, here are the president's remarks and the background. Again, there is wide agreement that anti-corruption must be at the top of this list, and the reforms must include an overhaul of the Prosecutor General's office, including removal of Prosecutor General Shoken, who is widely regarded as an obstacle to fighting corruption, if not the source of the problem. If you don't believe me, look up Diamond Prosecutors. Reform priorities must include judiciary standing up the new National Investigation Bureau. That was their version akin to the FBI, where they would look into these dumb motherfuckers and blah-bitty-fucking-blah. And I like, Jesus Christ, like how many... Fucking, oh, get out of here. Let me go back to here. No, it's not this one. No, it's in the bag. Hi, there's Joe. No, not you, stupid. This guy. Yes, there we go. Sorry.
He withheld tax dollars in the form of...
Tax dollars in the forms of money that we didn't actually give him unless the loans failed.
Foreign aid to Ukraine?
No, he didn't. A loan guarantee is not direct lending of money. It is the guaranteeing of IMF funds by the United States to the tune of about $3 to $5 billion, which we did continually.
Until they fired the prosecutor who just...
Right. And again, there was a vote in the parliament and Shoken lost. The parliament voted. They finally held the vote. And when they finally held the vote, they voted to get rid of him.
Happened to be investigating his son's corrupt energy company, the company that...
No, he wasn't.
His son was getting over $1 million.
Yeah, but China money and all this China money.
You hear from, and according to this FBI document, possibly another $5 to $10 million. So
yes, we can't find any of the money anywhere. There's $5 million in cash. No, we've interviewed his investment advisor. We've looked at all of it, where the money goes in and out of bank accounts. We've searched the fucking world for Cayman accounts and stuff, and we can't find shit.
We need this information the national.
Again, just go read the fucking the memo before the trip and try the fuck out.
Archives has responded to us saying that they would love to provide us this information, but the White House will not allow them to do it. That is evidence of obstruction, and that's why we're getting everything lined up to take this to court. We expect this information.
Right. Okay. No. The reason why, like, if there's anything like draft versions of stuff, that falls under executive privilege of, public remarks, like the back and forth that was happening. This falls under executive privilege. Even when you're the vice president, there's an envelope of that above you. That's what it is. And so anywhere they're like, no, you can't have copies of draft speeches and what we were thinking during there, but because it violates executive privilege, even within our office, which we absolutely have. Secondarily, if you want it, you can have it, but you got to go to court and prove there's a reason for knowing it.
And the fact that the White House continues to obstruct and not
obstruct, these motherfuckers are going after draft speeches. Draft speeches. And you know what they're going to find? They're going to go through all this court shit and all this back and forth. And Rob Shit's going to have this dumb fuck on again. And what they're going to get is a copy of the draft speech. This is the version you say if they don't fire him. This is the version you say if they do fire him. The part where you do fire him is what we're shooting for. And you might have to go, we're holding off any support because we believe the corruption in the country needs to be worked on, blah, blah, and the Rod and I will be remaining here for a couple hours if you guys want to do that. That's what they're going to find. There are two drafts of speeches. If they do this, we say this. If they do this, we say this. Thank you, State Department.
I want to be transparent with this. Shows that they have a lot of liability on this issue. And I think the American people can see right through what happened with Joe Biden doing the quid pro quo, withholding foreign aid to Ukraine in exchange for getting.
Oh, God. Zlochevsky was investigated by the new prosecutor. He fled the country because of it.
A prosecutor off his son's back.
He wasn't on his son's back. He was on the head of the company's back, but he was just riding him. And they were like this, and this was Shoken.
Yeah, I mean,
no, not yeah, no. Well, I've debunked this dozens of times. You guys are boring me. Come up with some new shit. I mean, I do like the idea that you want draft speeches now. That's fucking hilarious. That I'll give you that. That is just as ridiculousness goes. That's one I would not have called, that these motherfuckers want to comb through old speeches. But I mean, I know why they want to do it, because they think that Biden just made it up on his way out to speak, that he wrote his own little, like, protect my son speech. And
if you remember that time, I mean, we're talking 2015, that was the end of Biden's political run. Remember, he had no intention of going any further. He was going to retire after that. So that might have been the one big final move after 40 years in American politics.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to go out. His entire career being on the up and up, but you want to go out on a low note. Dude, he was leaving the vice presidency, not getting fired by Newsmax.
Let's get paid. Let's get paid. Let's get out. Let's get millions here. It was a bold move. It makes perfect.
Why? Wait, no. This had nothing. He wasn't setting in 2017, and that they weren't talking to fucking Ukrainian oil and gas companies. What the fuck are you talking about? Rudy Giuliani set up shop over there. The fucking Russians still had the place in a fucking stranglehold.
Makes sense in every way. Why in the name of God would he care so much about one prosecutor in Ukraine? So much. He didn't care about anything else in the world, but one prosecutor in Ukraine. Now that guy had to be fired.
Because this guy was on the take and guaranteeing that the corruption in the country that was orchestrated by Russia would continue.
And that's never happened before. Name me one other time in the history of our country when anyone, much less the vice president of the United States, has demanded a prosecutor in another country be fired and tried to withhold foreign aid in exchange for.
Okay, it wasn't foreign aid. He didn't try to withhold foreign aid. These motherfuckers. Okay, one more time. Can I show you the part that actually matters in this? You want to press Poroshenko to eschew radical plans and agree with Yatsenyuk on 2016 budget and tax plan. U.S. assistance. Poroshenko, you're looking at tangible signs of U.S. support to assist the Ukrainian people during these difficult times, facilitate further reforms, and help efforts to defend the Russian aggression. You will sign our third billion-dollar loan guarantee and publicly announce FY15 U.S. assistance for the first time. This is $189,000, which does not include security assistance. Previously, our support will go to top non-security priorities, including assisting to fight corruption. Strengthening rule of law. Okay, Minsk implementation. This is the other stuff that they have to do. You should relay to Poroshenko. The President Obama told President Putin at the G20 summit that we insist on full implementation of the Minsk agreements. Russia did not ultimately do this. Ukraine did live up to it, and then it broke apart. The president agreed with the Quint leaders that the EU should renew its sanctions on Russia for 6 months to be followed by another 6-month extension. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Unity reforms. Talking points. Now that local elections are over, you and Prime Minister Yatsenyuk need to continue to show unity and re-energize reforms. You should do it in major State of the Union. Anti-corruption efforts have to be at the top of your agenda. That will mean standing up the National Investigative Bureau. It will also require changing the Prosecutor General, who is damaging your credibility and obstructing the fight against corruption. I urge you to work with the Prime Minister to present a 2016 budget and tax plan that is in line with the IMF program. They're the ones who are actually giving the money. We were just guaranteeing part of it. We will agree that privatization will be critical. U.S. support will continue to stand behind you in your reform efforts. I will sign a $1 billion loan. In addition, new assistance for Ukraine. This assistance will go to reform priorities such as fighting corruption. This new announcement does not include security assistance. We need Ukraine to commit the personnel and resources to make this training effort. And that's the National Guard stuff. We recognize Ukraine's right to self-defense. Minsk agreement, there it is. And then they went through the same thing. They updated all of it. They went through several different variations. Yeah, no mention of Hunter. Must include. That's the part that comes up here. And that's why it was part of it. In the unity and reforms, on the background, there's wide agreement that corruption must be at the top of the list and that reforms must include and overhaul the Prosecutor General's office, including the removal of Prosecutor General Shoken. It must include, or you are not getting the money. Must is the word. Not should. Not we hope that you will reconsider. Okay. Must. I'm leaving here in 6 hours. Go fuck yourself if you think you're getting money. Yeah. All right. There we go. Oh, this dipshit. And this dipshit. And another dipshit. There we go. Back to here. Oh, yeah.
Getting the termination. That's never happened before.
Right.
It was never necessary before.
Joe Biden, since he's been president, hasn't called on any country to get rid of any corrupt person. Just the one guy that was investigating his shady son.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We've predicated a lot of support on countries that were getting on their feet. This is pretty unique, I would say. I'll have to go through because I wouldn't doubt that we predicated help on certain measures, whether they were individual to someone because you knew they were the issue because of the Diamond Prosecutor accounts that had happened that summer before in 2015.
And paying him and his son millions of dollars.
Except not.
It's just amazing. You know, I want to talk about his brother, Jim Biden, who is going to sit down, I think, with you guys in about 3 weeks. He's going to be, I don't know if he's going to be deposed. He's going to have an interview. I know that. You know, Jim wrote a check to Joe Biden for
China money,
$200,000 a person.
Wow, China money.
Check back in 2018, and this was right after Jim got wired.
What year was it? What year was that? So you were. I'm sorry, Rob. You were just telling us how he was no longer vice president, and that was the end of his political career, and he never intended on running again. Please continue.
A huge amount of money from a financially distressed hospital operator that we know only was interested in Jim Biden because of something that maybe Joe Biden could do for him.
Which didn't pan out, and he never did. And if James Biden was selling influence of his brother, he did it without Biden's knowledge or participation. And secondarily, that's what they sued him about.
Well, how are you going to ask that question to Jim Biden, and
who gives a fuck?
How on earth is he going to answer it?
Well, first of all, there are court documents from that distressed healthcare company.
Yeah. You know why? Because that was in an American court. You know why? This is an American fucking company. You know when? In 2018. Right, you know, and you know what time of the day? It was right around I don't give a fuck o'clock.
That alleged that Jim Biden defrauded him.
Because he peddled influence he didn't actually have. Jesus Christ.
The allegation was that Jim Biden approached AmeriCorps Health when they were in financial trouble and said that because he's Joe Biden's brother, he can access.
No, that's not what it said. It said because of his connections, both in the United States and in the Middle East, because he'd been involved in like construction projects in Iraq, that he could like, this is literally what the testimony in that said. We looked at it months ago, that he was working for them to expand their business elsewhere, not through his own influence and his own connections, not through Joe. Joe wasn't in fucking office anymore.
Joe Biden's contacts in the Middle East and help.
No, Jim Biden's contacts in the Middle East. Joe Biden doesn't have contacts in the Middle East.
This distressed healthcare company get all the money they need to get back on their feet. But in order for him to do that, they're going to have to pay him $600,000. Well, the healthcare company did. They paid it in 3 installments, and the last installment was for $200,000. The exact same day, AmeriCorps Health wired Jim Biden $200,000 in his personal checking account. Jim Biden wrote a check to Joe Biden that exact same day.
Right, because he owed his brother money, and this is what the loan was for. Also, why didn't he write it when he got the other $400K? Why did he wait till the third payment?
For the exact same amount, $200,000. That is evidence, Rob, that Joe Biden bid.
He wasn't in office. You can't influence peddle. You can't even make an argument that he's fucking lobbying without a license. He never did it. Jesus Christ. He wasn't in office. What the fuck is this?
Benefited directly from his family's influence peddling scheme.
Yeah, but he didn't have any influence other than, I guess, what, advice and counsel?
It's not evidence. It's obvious, is what it is.
It's obvious it's not evidence. It's information, dumb fuck. He wasn't in office. How do you peddle influence if you have no influence to peddle? Is it like riding on a bike? You just remove the seat and have a good time? Is that how it works?
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
Congressman, we appreciate you coming on.
Oh, he'll be back. And it'll be even more exciting next time.
Keep up the good fight, sir. Thank you.
The good fight. You couldn't say work, could you? Could you? Because, I mean, wrestling with reality is one thing, but holy shit. By the way, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, and you're watching it, and I think that shows taste and breeding on your part.